I don't see what you can fix with this group, especially offensively. I don't see. There are no options on the roster to fix it at this point. It is what it is. So they have to figure out a way to win in spite of their issues. And we all know what the issues are. Look, the offensive line is not playing well, but we knew it was going to be a major issue coming into the season, and it has been. And there's nothing. I mean, sure, you could go ahead and bench a couple of guys, but that's not. It's not like if you bench 2 or 3 guys, then the next thing you know, this is a Philadelphia Eagles offensive line, and they're going to be running the ball and protecting Trevor Lawrence, and the passing game will explode. It just is what it is at this point, and they have to figure out a way to win in spite of their issues. Trevor hasn't played well at times. He's bailing out of the pocket early. He's missed on some easy throws. ETN has, he had the fumble. The running game has not really gotten going to the extent that they want. The short yardage hasn't been great. Christian Kirk hasn't been involved. Even before he got hurt, Evan Ingram hasn't been involved. The bright spot, if you're looking for the bright spot, is Brian Thomas Jr. But I just don't see a scenario in which they flip the switch and everything is fixed. I think they're just going to have to find a way to win in spite of their weaknesses. And on the road in Buffalo is not going to be one of those places.
Well, it's Buffalo's been a team that's gotten them, it's lifted them up, right? Several times over the years, even in the Urban year. That was a terrible, miserable, awful football team going up against the pretty good Bills team that year. And Josh Hines Allen, the artist formerly known as Josh Allen, had maybe the best day of his career, from front to back that day against Buffalo, and they found a way to win that football game. It's hard to see past how difficult it is to get over 2 losses the way that they've lost these games. And especially with the next 2 games coming up. We knew the beginning of the schedule was going to be tough. 0-4 wasn't out of the realm of possibility, even going into the season. So I think the results from 3 months ago, looking at the schedule, saying they might start 0-4, well, they might start 0-4, right? Like, that's a reality right now, but they should have started 2-0. That's the frustrating part of this.
The other reality of it.
Right. Like, it's, if they don't have the fumble against Miami, I think they win that game.
Agree.
If they don't have their running back not getting set on that play this week, I think they win that game. Like, I think they beat Cleveland if that moment in the game changes. That's how bad I think Cleveland is. That's not to speak of how good I feel about the Jacksonville Jaguars at this point, but I think there is that path to, despite how bad I feel about where they're at, with all the issues that you brought up, they ought to be 2-0. Now, they've been bad enough that 2-0 has been turned into 0-2, and now the schedule flips. Like, it does look much more difficult when you're having to play Buffalo and Houston the next 2 weeks. I think
on the road.
Right. I think they're capable of winning both these games. I don't know that I'm going to pick them to win, against Buffalo or Houston, but I think they're capable of getting some of those things done. And from the trying to find the silver lining, where is the bright side, right? Since, you pointed at all the clouds, and I see them too. I see all the clouds too. I don't deny that they're there. But I do think there's something to, if they just make the plays that are there for them to be made, I think they're okay. I don't think they're a great team even if they get that kind of thing done, but they're okay. They'd be 2-0 if when the ball hits Christian Kirk's hands, he catches it. If when the ball hits Evan Ingram's hands in week 1, he catches it. If ETN doesn't fumble that ball away. Now, this is the NFL. Everyone who ever loses a game, especially when it's one score, you can always point to the 4 or 5 plays. If we had made them differently, we would have won the game. It would have changed the outcome of the game. Yeah, duh. We know. That's how the league works. But for fans, I can understand trying to hold on to that kind of thing. I can also understand the other side going, yeah, but they stink.
Bad teams don't make the plays when they're there.
That's been my argument on the percentage of 0-2 teams that make the playoffs, and everyone talk about 9, 11, 12, whatever you want to talk. It's like, yeah, bad teams start 0-2. That's not a news flash. Right? And you're looking at a team that you didn't expect to be bad starting 0-2 and saying, well, maybe they'll turn this around, and maybe they will. It's not impossible for them to get this thing turned around, but the problems, you're right. They seem pretty obvious right now. If you thought they had fixed anything on the offensive line, well, the thing that they brought in to fix it has played fine. Horse has been fine.
Yeah, he's been okay.
Right? Like, that has fixed the problem at center. Cool. How can you explain Anton having the start to the season that he's had? Like, it's among the most disappointing things that I've seen through the first 2 weeks is, we talked about it a lot on the show yesterday. We thought offensive tackle, defensive interior, that's where they're deep. That's where they're strong. That's where if they're going to have issues in places on the team, it won't be here or here. Well, 2 weeks into this thing, those are two of the big glaring what's going on. They don't stop the run. Last week against Cleveland, they didn't really stop it against Miami all that well either. But they haven't stopped the run basically through the first 2 weeks. I thought that's where they were supposed to improve on the defensive side of the ball. And the offensive tackles, I mean, Anton, I know he's better than what he's been these last couple of weeks, but it's been bad through the first 2 weeks of the season. They can't afford to have spots that they thought were handled not be handled as they get into, as we've already discussed, the real meat of what this schedule is going to be for them.
And the reason Doug Peterson acted the way he did after that game the other day in the post game is because he's experiencing and feeling everything that you're saying. He's like, you know what? We were supposed to be pretty good along the offensive line at the tackle spots. I'm afraid. We're supposed to be good at tackle. Supposed to be able to stop the run. Haven't done either. Christian Kirk, he's healthy. That's Trevor's guy. That's, now we've got the deep threat to go with our guy in the middle and across the short throws and not working. Trevor's going to make, it's his third year in the offense. He knows everything. He's been a bigger part of putting it together. This is the jump year that he's headed for. Nothing that he has expected to happen that they were convinced was going to happen has happened.
Hey, Mia here, and thanks so much for watching 1010XL Jaguars. For even more coverage of the Big Cats, be sure to subscribe to 1010XL Jaguars.